I mean, it wasn't exactly the best performance from Book. He had 18 points, 2 steals, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. He was 6 of 16 from the field and 1 of 4 from deep. How did you guys feel overall about Devin's performance in this one?
I mean, not great. Like, it wasn't the game that the Suns needed him to have. And there's been a lot of those games so far this season. But I will say to everyone in the chat who's been asking me, because I was very much criticizing people that were criticizing Book, I'm buying all of the Devin Booker stock that you're selling right now. I am seeing some ludicrous stuff in the comments about a 12-game sample size from Devin Booker when we have 9 years of evidence to go off of that he is that dude. And I'm not going to read into this one game where he played without Kevin Durant, without Grayson Allen, without Bradley Beal. And what did we say in the pregame show? We said this team is going to double the crap out of Devin Booker. He's going to be seeing pressure all night long. The Suns need to make their threes to keep the floor spaced, to make sure that they keep the defense honest. And they shot 30% from 3 on 43 attempts. They didn't get the job done. So 2 things can be true at once. Devin Booker needs to be better, and the Suns needed to hit their threes to space the floor with all the double teams that Book was going to see tonight. So no, it wasn't a good performance from Book, but I'm absolutely buying all of the stock that you're selling right now. Devin Booker's going to bounce back. He's not a guy that averages 23 points per game on, like, what is he shooting, 42%, 41% from the field this season. He's definitely better than that. It's a slow start. We're not making excuses to just point out the fact that he's going to be better than what we've seen so far.
I've seen people say that there are media members that cover the Suns that don't criticize Booker when it's appropriate. I added the when it's appropriate part in there. They did not. Tonight is not the night to do that. I know you are. I know a lot of people are chomping at the bit, looking to scratch an itch in terms of getting on him as much as they possibly can. Hate to break it to you, you're not gonna get that from me tonight. Like Gerald said, we very much told you all that he would be seeing bodies on bodies on bodies per every touch. And it would be rare that he found a crevice of space to work with without seeing another defender there to put some type of pressure on him. I screen grabbed like his first 3 possessions in the game, and he was not by himself in any capacity. Whether it was Sabonis double teaming him or somebody else from the Kings, in addition to his primary defender, there just wasn't the space to operate against this defense today. That's what happens when you're operating without so much of a percentage of your general scoring average. Yet alone the shooters that would make the defense respect them enough to not concede all of that attention to Devin Booker in particular. So there's not too much to glean from this game. I think he stayed composed. If you want to look for a positive, he stayed very composed in terms of not pressing too much, but he definitely wasn't passive at the same time. Right. So I give him a lot of credit for his approach. He knew what was coming. He didn't concede to it. He tried to go against the grain as much as he could. He just didn't have it to go up against the gargantuan deposit of defense that he saw tonight.
Yeah, I think his approach was right, but at the end of the day, you need to shoot better. And I understand that this was a game where they were throwing a lot of bodies at him. He was solo out there, but I think where a lot of this Devin Booker conversation is coming from is that it's not like tonight was the first night that he left us wanting more, or that we've been sitting here saying that Devin Booker needs to be better. He's had good games this season, but he's had a lot more bad games this season I think a lot of us would expect. I agree with you, Gerald. I'm buying all the Devin Booker stock. I'm not out on Devin Booker. I'm not panicking about Devin Booker. But truth is the truth. And I know some people are sick of people saying it, but Devin Booker has to play better. And how do you play better? You got to hit those shots. He was forcing a little bit tonight, taking tough ones. Part of that was a situation he was put in. Part of that was you can't rely too much on your playmaking when you're down 3 of your best scoring options and your 2 other stars in Grayson Allen as well. It's a tough spot for Book to be in, but I think the problem is that we've seen Book across his career be put in tough situations before, and he stepped up to that occasion. He scored at that occasion. And I think if I had to put my money down on it for the rest of the season, I would bet that he's going to do that. But so far he hasn't, and he does deserve some criticism for that. He's probably criticizing himself. I'm sure he's going to go back and watch the film and say, I need to be better. Because he does. In order for this team to hit the level that we are supposed to hit, when you trade for Kevin Durant, when you trade for Bradley Beal, when you spend the amount of money that Matt Ashby is hitting, you build all that around Devin Booker because you know that Devin Booker can be a top 10 player in this league, point blank, period. And he hasn't been playing like that this season. Everything's going to even out, but the truth is the truth. for right now, this second.
I would challenge you for a small portion of that. We are midway through 4 weeks of this NBA season. And remember, Devin won Western Conference Player of the Week for one of the previous weeks.
Yes.
Right.
So for 2 weeks and 2 days, sure, if you want to make that claim, but for an entire week, he was good enough to be Western Conference Player of the Week. So are we just having selective memory as far as which games we're going to keep at top of mind and which ones we're going to push to the bottom when it comes to that?
I do think that in general, when you're discussing players in sports, like the worst games are going to stick out. But I agree. Devin Booker was Western Conference Player of the Week. He's hit the heights in a couple points this season, scoring 40, scoring 30. But
we're like, again, midway through the 4th week. There's been 3 weeks so far.
I get it, but the standards for a player like him is different. And I'm not saying that it's correct, and I'm not saying that I agree with everybody who's piling on him and saying that he's trash. I think there's a lot of nuance in this conversation that's hard to completely nail down.
For sure,
But just because you've been Western Conference Player of the Week, but like you said, we're about 4 weeks into the season. I don't need Devin Booker to be great 1 out of every 4 weeks. I need Devin Booker to be great 4 out of 4 weeks. And I get it. That's hard. He's not always going to be fantastic. I'm still buying every Devin Booker stock imaginable. I'm with Gerald. Like, I believe that Devin Booker is going to be completely fine. And come February, we're going to be talking about him scoring 60 against 3 straight teams. Like, both of those things are true at the same time. But we can't just sit here, and I'm not saying that you guys are, but like go too far in either direction. He's been good and he's been bad. And for Book, he needs to be a little bit less of the latter on that.
Yeah.
We all silly like the mayor.